Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you as always by MEOR DC. Find us on Facebook at MEOR DC or MEORDC.org and learn about our programs in the upcoming new semester, which God willing starts on Monday at George Washington University. And check us out, do our programs, and we look forward to learning together with you and getting inspired together with Jewish wisdom. And speaking of Jewish wisdom, that's what we're going to get to right now. This week's Torah portion is Va'era, the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus, Shemos, and we're going to be wise guys and girls together with this week's portion. What do I mean? Well, what does it mean to be wise? Our sages tell us in a famous teaching in the oral law, who is a wise person? One who learns from every person. Truly, to love wisdom means that you're able to gain insight and knowledge from every other person with whom you come into contact with. So we're going to illustrate that with this week's Torah portion. So from whom are we going to learn in this week's Torah portion? From Moses and his righteous behavior, or Aaron, his brother? No. Well, yes, but not now. We're going to learn from Pharaoh Melech Mitzrayim, Pharaoh, the tyrannical, hateful, horrific tyrant who enslaves the Jewish people in a most bitter way during their Egyptian exile. What can we learn? What wisdom can we gain from Pharaoh? A lot, actually. What do we see in this week's Torah portion? 7 of the 10 plagues, 7 in this week's Torah portion and 3 in next week's Torah portion. 7 of the 10 plagues are recounted here as they come and uproot and destroy and wreak havoc with the land of Egypt and its people. And Pharaoh stubbornly refuses to let the Jewish people go to serve Hashem, as Moshe has told him that Hashem wants him to do. He stubbornly refuses and hardens his heart time after time. There's blood and there's plagues and there's lice and there's pestilence. And he seems to relent and say, okay, it's too much. Go, I'll let the Jewish people go. But then when he gets relief after each, when the plague goes away, he snaps back into place, hardening his heart, becoming stubborn. What can we learn from that? The Torah is a Torah of truth. We see the truth of the depths of self-destructiveness and spiritual blindness that a person can bring upon him or herself through their own choice. Despite the overwhelming evidence of a strong hand above, of Hashem's omnipotence, Pharaoh refuses to submit himself, though he sees the truth clearly. That's the power of self-destructiveness of a person. That's a useful thing to know in how we live with ourselves, because hopefully we'll never get to the level of Pharaoh Melech Mitzrayim. But we have to struggle with our own hardness of heart and stubbornness and spiritual blindness, and it's there. And Judaism is all about battling each and every day with that force within us and outside of us. But let's end on a good note. The Sfas Emes, a great Hasidic rabbi, says we can learn from Pharaoh's stubbornness on the good side. If Pharaoh is able to harden his heart for such evil purposes, we Jews can learn to harden our heart to follow what's good, to be righteous, to be truthful, despite setbacks, despite our own inner doubts. Harden our heart over and over again to do what's right. Harden our heart for the sake of the Torah and its beautiful mitzvot. To be stubborn for holiness. Have a wonderful Shabbos. And I'll see you next week, God willing. Good Shabbos.